Have you ever been told, don't believe that, it's just a conspiracy theory? We often think of conspiracy theories as wild, paranoid ideas, crazy stories made up by people wearing tinfoil hats. And sure, some of them really are far-fetched, but history tells a different story. Because every now and then, something unbelievable, something denied by those in power, turns out to be 100% true. What if governments really did experiment on their own citizens? What if entire communities were lied to by the very doctors sworn to protect them? What if your worst fears about mass surveillance weren't just theories, but reality? Tonight, we're diving deep into 5 conspiracy theories that were once dismissed as fantasy, but later exposed as fact. Get ready, because once you know these stories, you'll never hear the words, "That's just a conspiracy," the same way again. Our first story is perhaps the most famous, MKUltra. For decades, rumors spread that the CIA was experimenting with mind control. People claimed the government was secretly dosing citizens with LSD, hypnotizing them, and even trying to erase memories. It sounded insane, like something ripped out of a spy thriller. But it wasn't fiction. In the early 1950s, at the height of the Cold War, the CIA launched a secret program called MKUltra. Its goal, to develop techniques for controlling human behavior. Perfect brainwashing methods that could create super spies or even assassins. They experimented on soldiers, prisoners, hospital patients, and even random civilians, often without their knowledge or consent. One man, Frank Olson, a CIA scientist, was given LSD without his knowledge. Days later, he mysteriously fell from a 13-story hotel window. His family believes he was murdered because he knew too much. Others were subjected to weeks of drugging, electroshock therapy, and sensory deprivation. Many lives were destroyed. For years, the government denied everything. But in 1973, a trove of documents survived a CIA purge and leaked to the public. Senate hearings confirmed it. MKUltra was real. The United States government had, in fact, carried out secret experiments on its own people. What once sounded like paranoid ramblings became undeniable truth. Now let's go back to 1932. In the town of Tuskegee, Alabama, rumors began circulating that doctors were using African-American men as guinea pigs. The claim that the government was watching poor men with syphilis slowly die without giving them treatment. Doctors insisted it was nonsense. But the truth, it was worse than anyone imagined. For 40 years, the U.S. Public Health Service ran the Tuskegee Syphilis Study. Hundreds of black men were told they had bad blood and would be treated. But in reality, they were deliberately denied penicillin, even after it became the standard cure in the 1940s. These men were lied to, misled, and left to suffer. Many died. Wives were infected. Children were born with congenital syphilis. Entire families were destroyed. The truth only came out in 1972 when a whistleblower leaked the story to the press. The public outrage was enormous. The Tuskegee scandal permanently damaged trust in government health programs and still affects medical mistrust in black communities today. A conspiracy once dismissed as paranoid rumor turned out to be a horrific reality. Our third story is one of the darkest and most disturbing. In the 1950s, strange rumors began circulating. Governments were stealing body parts, specifically bones, from deceased children, all without parental consent. It sounded grotesque, almost too disturbing to believe. But then, the truth surfaced. The project was called Project Sunshine. In order to study the effects of nuclear fallout from atomic bomb tests, researchers needed to know how radioactive particles spread in human bones. And so, without asking permission, they began secretly collecting body parts from deceased infants and children. Across the United States, Europe, and Australia, bodies were dissected. Parents were told their children's remains were intact, when in reality parts had been taken. One mother later discovered her baby girl's body had been used in secret testing. She had never been asked. She had never been told. For years, it was dismissed as a gruesome conspiracy theory, but government records later proved it beyond doubt. Project Sunshine was real, and it left behind a chilling legacy, how far those in power are willing to go in the name of science. Next, we travel to the 1960s, and in the middle of Cold War tension with Cuba. Rumors swirled that the U.S. military had drawn up plans to stage fake terrorist attacks against its own citizens, just to justify an invasion of Cuba. Most dismissed it as impossible. After all, why would the U.S. government ever attack itself? But even declassified documents proved it. Operation Northwoods. The plan included hijacking planes and blaming it on Cuban operatives, sinking boats full of Cuban refugees, even staging shootings and bombings on U.S. soil, all to whip the public into supporting a war against Fidel Castro. The documents weren't theories. They were real proposals, signed and approved by top military leaders. The only reason it never happened was because President John F. Kennedy rejected the plan. Imagine, history could have played out completely differently if those attacks had gone ahead. Operation Northwoods shows us that what once sounded like paranoid fantasy was dangerously close to reality. And finally, let's step into the modern world. For decades, conspiracy theorists warned, the government is spying on all of us. Every phone call, every email, every search you make, it's all being tracked. Most people rolled their eyes. It sounded like classic paranoia. Until 2013. That's when Edward Snowden, a former NSA contractor, leaked a massive set of documents to the press, and the truth came crashing down. The NSA really was monitoring millions, no, billions of communications. Programs like PRISM and X-Keyscore were secretly gathering phone records, internet activity, emails, and even private video calls. Not just from criminals, but from ordinary citizens, people like you and me. World leaders were spied on, tech companies scrambled to add encryption. And suddenly the idea of Big Brother watching wasn't a theory, it was daily reality. So what do all these stories teach us? That sometimes conspiracy theories aren't just wild fantasies. Sometimes they are warnings. Warnings that power can be abused. That secrecy breeds corruption. That truth always eventually comes to light. MKUltra, Tuskegee, Project Sunshine, Operation Northwoods, NSA surveillance. Each of these was once dismissed as delusion. Each was later proven fact. So the next time someone tells you, "Don't worry, that's just a conspiracy," remember, history shows us that the line between theory and reality is razor thin. Which of these stories shocked you the most? And do you know of other conspiracies that turned out to be true? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading them. And if you enjoyed this dive into the strange, the hidden, and the unbelievable, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Unreal Strange Vault, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next journey into the unknown. Because sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction.